Hey boys and girls, today we are going to do multiplying decimals by powers of 10, and I thought I'd change it up a little bit since it's almost Halloween and kind of do a little costume for you. So if you will take a piece of paper, and you are going to need this for your math sheet for today. It's the one that looks like this. It says 40.3 times 10 at the top. You should have two that kind of look like that. So one is 2.24 times 100. That's next times. All right, so I want you to take a piece of paper, and I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what I'm doing. Ta-da! All right, and I would like for you to, we're going to make what kind of looks like a number line, but it's really not going to be. So I'm going to make it like this, and then I'm going to try and divide it into 8 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to put my decimal point right there. So I'm going to use a pencil so I can use the same grid over and over again for you. I can't find a pencil that's sharpened now. And what I want you to do is I want you to put 3.6 there. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to multiply by 10. So it would be like we had the problem 3.6 times 10. And I want you to understand the reason behind moving the decimal, and then you'll see the shortcut pretty quickly. But when you're multiplying by a power of 10, you're making the number bigger. So to make the number bigger, we have to move the decimal to the right. So if we want to make the problem smaller, we move it to the left, because then that's going to be parts of a whole instead of more whole numbers. Okay, so the digits are going to move to the left of the decimal point, and how far you move depends upon when you're dealing with powers of 10. So powers of 10 would be any number that ends in a 0. So 10, 100, 1,000. You could even go up to 1,000,000. So it's a power of 10 number is any number that has a 1 and a 0 as the numbers. So it has to be like a 10, 100, 1,000. And for 5th grade, we're really going to focus on tens, hundreds, thousands. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at the number of zeros in the power of 10. And that's how many places to the right we are going to move our decimal point. So in 3.6 times 10, how many zeros do we have? Well, we have 1. So I'm going to move my decimal point 1 place to the right. So I'm going to move it to here. So 3.6 times 10 is really 36. Okay, so let's try another number. Let's try, I should have used a whiteboard. Let's try 4.9 times 10. So it's a power of 10. So I'm going to count the number of zeros in my power of 10, which was 1, because 10 only has 1 0. And I'm going to move my decimal to the right 1 place. So I would move it here. So my answer would be 49. And it would be appropriate for you to write the number 49 point if you wanted to, or you could just write it 49. Both things would be right, because anytime the decimal is at the end of the number and there's nothing that follows, we know that that's kind of like an invisible decimal point. All right, let's try another number and see how we do with this one. Let's do 57.3 times 100. 57.3 times 100. So I'm going to write my number here on my grid. And this time I'm going to look at my power of 10 number. And this time, instead of only having one, like in the number 10, I've got 100, which means there's how many zeros? 1, 2. So I have 2. So this time I'm going to have to move my decimal 2 places. 1, 2. If I end up where my new decimal point is here, but I have an empty space, what do we use to hold the space? Right, we use a 0. So my new answer would be 5,730. Or you could write it 5,730 with no decimal point at the end. Okay, let's try another one. I'm going to get a dry erase board for the next one. Let's do 38.7 times 1,000 this time. Okay, so I'm going to write my number in my grid up here. And I'm going to count my number of zeros in my power of 10 number to know how many places to the right I need to move my decimal. And so I have 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to move my decimal 1, 2, 3. I'm going to fill that in with my zeros to hold the value. And this time my number is 38,700. Hopefully you're starting to see how this works. I think I'm just going to rewrite the grid here. I'm going to do 1.42 times 10. So I have 1 0. So I'm going to move my decimal to the right 1 place to make my number bigger. And so now I have 14.2. So in your problems for today, what I want to see you do is I want to see you use this blue line, divide it up into sections. I want you to write the number, and then I want to see you move the decimal point and then write the answer. Okay? So I know that for some of you, it's going to be easy because you're going to think, oh, I know exactly how to do that. And that'll be really great for you to do as we move forward. But for today and our next lesson using this, I want to see you use this grid because it'll help kind of solidify in your brain the processes of moving that decimal to make the number bigger when you're multiplying by a power of 10. So do this paper for today, upload it to a photograph of it to Google Classroom when you're done. If you're in person, take a photograph, but then also turn in your hard copy to the bucket that's on Mrs. Kaywood's desk. So hopefully you guys are having a great day, and I will look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Bye.